Welcome to the stream, everyone. It's our top of the hour break. We will be on the air in 2.5 minutes. News and traffic and weather here at the top. Oh, man, it's pouring outside. We've got a lot to talk about today, man. Oh, man. Marjorie Taylor. They hate Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. Well, keep on dreaming. These never-Trumper Democrat creeps. Oh, man. Liberals are always upset. They're just angry people. Give me a 1 if you love Trump. Here, I'll do my 1. There you go. A 1 if you love Trump. Hey, Chuck. Good morning. Good morning, Wookiees. Good morning, everyone. That's right. You know, sometimes people ask me about this. When I start the stream, like now, I got another 90 seconds till showtime. I don't say hello to everybody individually, and sometimes people get offended by that. The reason I don't do that is I watch live streams on YouTube, and when I watch a channel and they start by saying hello to everybody by name, I feel like I'm not a part of the group. You know, I feel like I'm left out. They don't know me. You know what I mean? That's why I don't do that so much. Oh, man. I was up a little too late last night. It is pouring rain. You can't tell because it's dark out. You can't see out these windows behind me until the sun comes out. I don't know if the sun's going to come out at all this morning. All right, here we go.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. That's right. Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. Man, is it pouring rain outside. Oh, man, I escaped this morning what was going to turn into something really creepy and bad if I would have you know, I left my house early this morning because it's raining. And the rain let up, and I said, well, let me take off to the radio station early today so I can beat the rain, right? I don't like driving in the rain. And, you know, when I'm driving in the mornings, it's like the cusp. It's when the night becomes the morning, and the roads early in the morning, you know, half the people are going to work, and they're not awake yet. They're not awake yet, and half of them are in their phone checking their emails and texting as they're driving down the road. And the other half are people that are on their way home from the 5 a.m. bars. So it's always a sketchy time to be out, and not the safest of times to be out on the road. But hey, you know, we do what we do. So you always got to drive defensively. But I left early, and the coffee shop doesn't open up till 5 a.m. So I got to the coffee shop, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes before they open, which is fine. So I'm sitting in the parking lot in my car with the windows down, reading the news on my phone. And I got the windows down because it stopped raining and the weather's nice, and it's Florida, right? And some young, creepy guy, when I say young, you know, 20s, you know, some young, creepy guy looks half homeless with a backpack and like a tweaker. He comes up to me. And he wants money and a ride. Oh, yeah, sure, get on in. Let me take out my wallet. Let me give you some money out of my wallet and come on in my car. And since I'm opening up my wallet, you can see how, oh, my goodness. So, and he got kind of an attitude with me. I said, no, sorry, man. And he's like putting his arm, it was a little creepy. So what I did, luckily I had the car running I left the car running because I was listening to the radio and listening to our radio station. I was listening to 96.9 FM, and I put the car in drive and drove off, and then he walked away. But oh my goodness, does anyone actually reach into their pocket and hand money and then give people rides like this? Very sketch. When people are walking the roads before 5 a.m., they're usually up to no good. That was very good. But I'm here. I made it. I escaped. I could only imagine what would have happened if I would have let that guy in my car. Are you kidding me? Has anyone ever picked up a hitcher like that? I don't know if I call that a hitcher. I don't know. Has anybody ever picked somebody up like that and given them a ride? I don't think so. Once they're in your car, you're done. All right, well, listen, we got a lot going on. We've got a lot to talk about. The mainstream media and the internet on social media, they're after my two favorite people in the House of Representatives. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's spectacular, and, of course, the incredible Matt Gaetz. I think Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG and MG, no, Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think are my two favorite members of Congress. I love them. They are awesome. They tell it like it is. They're like Trump, and they don't take any crap. And they're after both of them. And I'm gonna start with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, the Republican Party, the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, we're doing a house cleaning with President Trump. But the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, we are the America First Party, right? America First, American nationalism. What's wrong with that? You know, liberals believe that America First is racist, bigoted, ethnocentric, and all of these things. America First is the way it should be, especially when America is in times of trouble like we are right now with this senile old coot checked out who's supposedly running the country. There's a recession now. I don't like saying it, but it's there. And we have no one trying to fix anything. Right? None of them are trying to fix anything. They're all running around virtue signaling that they're the first something, right? The first gay cabinet member, Mayor Pete. The first gay African-American female White House press secretary. They all think they're the Neil Armstrong of something, and they're more worried about these check marks of diversity than they are doing their jobs. We do not have anyone in the federal government in a position of authority that is trying to fix anything and make one American life better. Right now, the Biden regime is talking about giving official government identification to illegals jumping the border so that they can get benefits. This is god-awful for a number of reasons. One, you know, I was reading a story this morning about seniors that are really struggling on fixed incomes, doing without things like medicines, people rationing off their pills, food, gas, and they're going to give everything to illegal. You know, when they say so, illegals can qualify for benefits. What does that mean? What benefits? You know what benefits? Health care. Housing, right? Give them an apartment, Section 8. Food, WIC and food stamps, everything. They get the whole deal while you are struggling to pay your bills. I'm America First. Now, if everything was perfect right now and the economy was like the Trump economy, we can afford to help others. They're giving more money to Ukraine. But Americans should be plenty ticked off that they're talking about, you know, giving free everything to illegals that have just jumped the border. There's more problems to that than just that, but I want you to think about that. Americans are, and by the way, they get clothing, everything. They're going to give them everything. I was talking on my podcast last night, you know, The summer is almost over. Kids are going back to school. For young parents, this is financially one of the most difficult times of the year, more so than even Christmas. Because Christmas, it's there, you plan for it, you buy things in advance over time. When kids go back to school, there's a lot of things that they need immediately. New shoes, new clothes, because they grow all the time. And everybody wants to have new shoes and clothes for the new school year. I remember when my daughter was little, it was going back to school, the biggest time of the year as a young parent when it comes to expenses are when your kids are young, K through 12. You got to buy them an entirely new wardrobe and shoes. They've grown over the summer. Then school supplies. And I remember, the teachers would give these school supply lists that were very expensive that the kids had to have. And, so parents in this recession that we're in, where they're struggling to fill up their tank and feed their families, have a major expense going right now, right? New clothes, new shoes, and school supplies. And then you look in the news, in the Biden regime, if you're an illegal who just jumped the border, hey, back to school, it's all taken care of. By the way, don't even worry about the lunch money. Taxpayers going to pay for that too. That ticks people off. And you know what? It should. If it doesn't tick you off, you got a problem. Now there's another, but they're going to give them IDs so they can get all the benefits that you're struggling with, including rent, mortgage payments. My goodness. My goodness. How many of you are renters and are being forced to move because rents are so high right now? I see it happening to people all the time. I don't know what people are doing. So being America first is not a bad thing. It's not evil. It's not racist. It's not bigoted. It's not ethnocentric. It's a good thing to be America first. And giving out IDs to the illegals that just came into this country is very, very dangerous. And I am going to tell you why after our first break. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. No matter where you are listening to us, that is a toll-free number, and you are all welcome to call in. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. And by the way, you do not have to agree with what we're saying here on the program to call in. We want to hear from people who agree and disagree. All are welcome. I don't know how anyone could disagree with anything I'm saying here, but if you can try. If you do, you can call me. But I think most of you probably agree. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Again, our number 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Ah, right.
Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25
Oh my
cents
goodness.
each. Everything on your list at amazing
Oh my
prices.
goodness.
Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store, only limit 30.
Women, you know menopause menopause is no fun, but there is help available for your menopause symptoms with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone, vaginal dryness reversed. You'll get your sex drive back too. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Afternoons can be pretty boring. Boring! That's why we've brought in a specialist from our generation. Now, the ladies say he's witty, fun, and down to earth. And believe us, he knows his music.
That's right.
Tune in afternoons 2 to 6, where we take you back to the early 60s, when rock music was in its purest form. You'll remember bell-bottoms, go-go boots, lava lamps, miniskirts, and the Beatles, the Monkees, and Elvis. It's Afternoons with Dean Miuccio. Weekdays 2 to 6 p.m. right here on the new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. South Florida's Good Time Oldies.
Don't spend thousands of dollars on a fancy hotel suite when you can feel 5-star luxury in your very own home. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my Pillow bathrobe. It's the most comfortable robe I've ever worn. Made with luxurious cotton, it comes in men's and women's and a huge variety of colors. And right now, you can order yours for 30% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879.
This is Julian Rubenstein from The Income Show. Listen to my show at 7:30 every Sunday morning, or listen anytime on the web at www.americanasset.com, where you will learn about structured notes earning approximately 8% interest income and our permanent portfolio strategy that strives to provide income growth and protection. And you can always call my office at 561-955-8500 to make an appointment to meet with me personally, Julian Rubenstein. Have a great day.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is. All right. Okay. So, America First is not a bad thing. That's right. And don't let them tell you that being America First and American nationalism and Americans First is Nazi. It's not, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute when we get to the great Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know who my favorite member of Congress is. Is it Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz? I love them both. I saw Matt Gaetz, met Matt Gaetz actually at a Trump rally in Sunrise at the Panthers Arena, and he's a skinny guy. If you ever see Matt Gaetz in person, any of you guys meet Matt Gaetz? He's a skinny guy. You know, TV adds weight to you, but he's got this big old head with the hair. I mean, it's amazing. He stands out. He's a cool guy. But anyway, let's finish up, though. They're going to give IDs to border jumpers. Full disclosure, by the way, when I was a kid, there was a friend of the family who was murdered by 2 illegals from Mexico right here in Florida. And I know they're not, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. I remember the first Trump rally I went to. I've been to a bunch of them. But the first Trump rally I went to during the 2015 campaign was in West Boca at Sunset Cove Amphitheater. How many of you were there? We had our 4th of July event there for the radio station. And before President Trump came out, there was a woman whose son had been murdered. She spoke. Her son had been murdered by an illegal that crossed the border from Mexico. And he was in high school, murdered on his way to school. They burned his body. Just terrible, terrible. And this thing about giving them IDs, okay, so they can get benefits. Oh, boy. Isn't that disgusting? It is disgusting. But it's also dangerous. It's also very, very dangerous because supposedly they're undocumented. So how do you give an official government ID to someone that has no documents? I have to produce documents all the time. We have our annual MAGA cruise, Steve Kane and I, that we go on, you know, I have to bring documents, my passport, a driver's license. You know, I have to show stuff all the time. I'm at the bank, I got to produce. But someone that is undocumented and has just jumped the border, how do they get a government ID, right? How do they verify their information? They have no documents. Well, it's pretty simple. Their name is whatever they tell the government worker handing out the IDs. Their name and age is whatever they tell them. So if you are anywhere in Central or South America and you are a criminal, there's a new witness protection program right here in America. You just cross the border into Arizona, California, Texas, wherever, and they're giving you now official government IDs, and you're going to get a whole new ID, right? You're going to get a new name, a new age. That's right. You're whoever you say you are. You're as old as you say you are, too. That's right. Boom. Record wiped clean. No record. And plus, we're going to pay for everything, your housing, your food. We're going to take care of you and your family. No worries. Don't need to get a job. You don't need a green card. We're going to give you all the benefits. And you know, living on government benefits for a lot of people in Central and South America, that's living the high life compared to what they left behind. It's very dangerous. And I mean, think about it. You know, you go back, you know, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, when Johnny Law was all over them and they couldn't operate any longer, what did they do? They went to Bolivia and they set up a whole new identification. That's what the outlaws of the Wild West used to do. They used to go to Mexico and start a new life. Or Butch and Sundance down in Bolivia. And what happened to Butch and Sundance in Bolivia? Oh yeah, they were going to turn over a new leaf. They go to Bolivia, they got new names, they got jobs. They're not no more robbing trains and banks. We're going clean. And look what happened. They turned back to crime because that's what criminals do. That's a true story, Butch and Sundance. Now it's in reverse. You come to America, boom. That's it. And they turn back to crime. How many people live a life of crime, go to prison, do a long stretch, get released, and they're out there doing crime again? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And Biden, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you're a criminal. So very bad, very bad. So Marjorie Taylor Greene made a comment that is true, it is accurate, and they're calling her all kinds of crazy things. Let me play this. This is the great Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And I believe that Republicans need to prove to the American people that we are the party of American nationalism and Christian nationalism. I'm a Christian. I have no problem saying I'm a Christian nationalist. And I think that's an identity that we need to embrace, because those are the policies that serve every single American, regardless of how they vote. They could be a Democrat and a progressive, but Christian nationalist or American nationalist, America First policies still serve those people because they're the right policies for everyone.
Okay, what's wrong with that? You know, they're calling her a Nazi all over the Twitter now. They're all over her in the mainstream corporate fake news media, calling her a Nazi. You know, the Nazis, it really shows you the bigotry of the left. Oh yeah, the left. They think they're tolerant. They're so tolerant they can't tolerate anyone who disagrees with them. Right? It shows you the religious bigotry of the left. Because she said Christian, to them, to liberals, to Democrats, Christians are Nazis. Well, let me tell you, history sadly is written by Democrats, by liberals, because college professors, PhDs, the intellectuals, write the history books, even the ones you buy at the bookstores, if you can find a bookstore. We got one down the street. There's a Barnes & Noble down the road. And they write it from a liberal perspective. And they call the Nazis, they They don't say what their true name was because they don't want you to hear it. The original name of the Nazi Party was the National Socialist Workers' Party. Then they went by the National Socialist. The National Socialist Workers' Party. That doesn't sound Republican to me. That sounds like Bernie Sanders. Socialist? Workers? That sounds lib. That's why they call them Nazis as opposed to National Socialist, National Socialism, or the National Socialist Workers' Party. In fact, they even made a movie about Hitler in his right after World War II with John Cusack, and they show this scene. They're recruiting Hitler. John Cusack is in this movie, and they tell Hitler, oh yeah, we're the National Socialist Worker Party, but we're not socialist. Then why is it in the name? Because liberals made the movie, and they don't want socialism tied to the Nazis. That's why they say Nazis and not National Socialist. If you're on hold, stand by. Marjorie Taylor Greene is right. She said nothing wrong. I'm with Marjorie Taylor Greene always. Callers on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break. I'll come back, go to the calls. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this. Break. I'll come back, go to the calls. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again.
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Australia, welcome. I just pinned Rome's comment there. Now I want to show you guys something, okay? This is my iPad where I watch the stream when I'm watching. So this will be, I don't know how this works on all of your streams where you're watching, but you all have a version of this. You see these 3 lines right here next to the X? Okay, click those. This is something that Rome, Wisconsin just told. I didn't realize. By default, it is always set to top chat every time you open up the chat room. Okay, top chat. You want to click on live chat, and then you get to see everything. I don't know why it does that. That's not me. That's just something YouTube does. So click that live chat.
That's because...
Oh my goodness.
Tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, Liberal Al Lejon. No invite for you.
Everyone but Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity...
That is true. Liberal Al is on the list not to be a part of our group. That is not a joke. There's a couple others on there, too.
San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night. On onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included. To join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
You've been putting back a few.
Did you guys watch my abortion clinic video that I posted yesterday? If you've not, check it out. That was that's something you don't get a chance to see.
You kill someone. The result of driving drunk or tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering
Oh, thanks, Cheryl.
new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals.
Yeah, if you didn't hear me talk about it yesterday, I drove by when I was going to the beach on, was it Saturday or Sunday? Had to be Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. Or was it Saturday? I can't remember which day. No, it was Sunday. And I drove by an abortion clinic that has gone out of business and is partially, it's being renovated and turned into something else. Yeah, it was weird.
He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks.
That iron gate was there when the clinic was open. A scary place. Looked like something out of a horror movie with that gate.
604-4602 and tell him Steve Kane sent you.
You've seen the ads on TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code Kane,
All right, we're coming back.
at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get one for free. But you have to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
I just got an email from Mike Lindell's office. I'm talking about it at the next break, but the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper is 50% off. That's like the lowest price ever. Oh, back early.
Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. I'll take a call or two before I continue to move on in the news of the day. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, this is Fort Lauderdale.
Speak up. Name. What's your name? Where are you calling from again?
This is Pete, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Pete. Good morning in Fort Lauderdale. What's up?
Well, this thing about giving illegal aliens ID, it's just crazy. It's a ploy to get votes and everything.
Well, yeah. No, go ahead. It makes you mad because why?
Well, it makes me mad because if a United States citizen served in the forces is hurt, you just don't know how hard it is for them to get their disability from the Army. Sometimes they turn you down and you have to apply again and again, but these people waltz across the border and get a free ride.
Well, they do, in a lot of these instances, they do an automatic turn down, hoping you'll go away and don't have to pay you. That's like an automatic rejection. Yeah, you don't have to be a veteran to be ticked off at this. I mean, right now, Americans are struggling with the basic necessities of life. Right now, parents of school children, K through 12, around this country are very worried, not sleeping at night because they don't know how they're going to get together enough money to buy their kids new shoes, new clothes, and school supplies as the school year is about to begin. And then the White House announces that they're going to give government-issued IDs to illegals so that they can give them benefits. And they don't have to worry about anything. If it doesn't piss you off, you're not paying attention.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And just keep up the good fight there, Brian. I had to spout off because it makes me so mad that they give these. The first thing they do is break the law when they come across the border.
Well, everyone's a criminal because they're here illegally. That by definition makes them a criminal. They're all criminals.
Absolutely. too.
All right, take care. We got a bad connection from Fort Lauderdale today, but thanks for the call. Oh, man, I love Fort Lauderdale. Grew up in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, man. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Yeah, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's right on the money. And, of course, they're going after Matt Gaetz. I love Matt. You guys love Matt Gaetz? Who does not love Matt Gaetz? Oh, man, he's awesome. And he's like Trump. Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they tell it like it is. They tell you what everyone's thinking, but too politically correct to say, and they're out to destroy Matt Gaetz now. Listen to this. This is Matt Gaetz yesterday.
To say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, be offended. That's right, be offended. Now, that's not how I go around talking about people, but so what? You know, liberals believe, they believe a lot of things, but one thing liberals believe is that they have some sort of constitutional guarantee to not be offended. And if they're offended, oh, well, that person must be canceled. You know what? Things offend me. Not as much as they offend liberals, but there are things that I find offensive, like giving government-issued IDs to illegals so they can get their whole life paid for. They start their life in America retired with everything covered for their whole family. That offends me. You don't have a right to not be offended, liberals. I'm sorry. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian.
Yes, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. I've met you and Steve plenty times at Wings Plus.
Oh.
Howard. I'm Howard from Sunrise. Listen, you brought up a good point, and I just want to emphasize on it. You were telling your audience that, they come up, listen, it's not to anger people. Everybody's human, but coming legally, okay, number one. Number two is when they get here, they're given all new IDs, all new whatever, new lives, better than what I'm doing. I'm a laborer. I didn't get a college education, so I'm in the workforce. What I was going to say was, I got a criminal record. Nothing serious, nothing real bad. But when I go to get a job, they even though it was adjudicated or I was charged but not convicted of it, it still stops me from getting a job at a simple job.
Oh, really? Oh, hold on. This is something because I'm glad you. What was the crime you were arrested but not convicted of?
It was domestic violence with my ex-wife. And it wasn't serious. I didn't, it was something that I was charged with but not convicted.
Okay, that's interesting because I was wondering about this bodega worker that was charged with murder and released in New York, and I was wondering about that on the job applications. It doesn't say have you been convicted. It asks if you've been arrested.
It asks have you ever been. Some of them are different, so I really couldn't tell you.
But when you filled out job applications, you've had to fill out that you've been arrested even though you weren't convicted? Oh my goodness.
They still want to know.
That's...
Dealership right here in Sunrise, Sawgrass Ford, going back about 5 years ago, and when I went there, they wanted me to call on the telephone, and they have a special interview that they do with me. And as soon as they found out that I had a domestic on my record, They wouldn't even tell me why, because I didn't get the.
Well, that's tough. I mean, when you're what kind of job were you applying for at the dealership?
Sales act.
I wouldn't need all the names. See, that's the thing, and it's nothing. You're a good guy, but when you're dealing with auto sales, you're dealing with a lot of confidential information that involves people's personal finances and everything, and credit and social security numbers and everything, and people don't want to hire someone that's been arrested for anything, and I think you probably understand that.
Understand that, but like I said,
did you do it, or did you give your wife a tune-up?
I didn't do it. It was my wife actually had left me shortly after that for another woman. It was a setup.
Oh my goodness! Your wife turned gay?
My wife turned gay, which was fine, with me, but she left me with the 3 kids, took my 3 kids out of state. It was one of those things. Blocked the door, couldn't get in my apartment. But it's on my record, and I
You can't get it. You did what?
I sold cars on Federal Highway close to 15, 20 years, but in between when that had happened, I was already working, so it didn't affect me then, because I was already selling, I was already at the dealership.
Yeah, but when you go for a new job, it does.
For my new job, I couldn't even get that, and then now, which I'm doing landscaping. I mean, I'm competing with I'm competing with younger guys, and a lot of them are from El Salvador, Mexico, and they work for very little. And, it's very hard for me to make, the money.
It's tough.
It's real tough. But, you brought up a good point, and I've always said this to a lot of people. I said, listen, when they come here, and they're not bad people, they're great people. I love them. I mean, I work with them side by side. But when they come here and they have records there, and they apply for a job here, they're going to get it before me.
That's right.
It's unfair, and a lot of people better wake up and realize.
Well, it's not right. It's just not right.
The loophole, and it's really going to hurt this place. I'm telling you now, it's really going to hurt America.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of guys like you. Divorces are messy and nasty, and women often make fake claims. Even Ivana Trump made some fake claims right during that divorce with our great president, and then they stick, and then the people get mad and they say things and do things, and then it sticks to the guy. There's a lot of guys like you that are jammed up like that.
Even if you're found not guilty of the crime, it's on your record when they pull everything up.
That you've been arrested.
They know everything.
Yeah.
Everything. But see, they'll know everything, but the people that are coming here from other countries, they're not going to know that. They're not going to know everything.
No, because well, first off, they got a whole new identity, right? They've got a clean record because they got a new name. Well, listen, appreciate the call, Howard. All right, take care. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, listen, you know what they're setting us up for is like for the DACA population, where now you're going to have to give these 12 million people this listing, because then they're going to say, how can you deport however many millions more have crossed the border? We got to give them amnesty, which Marco Rubio led that group, which I totally disagree. And here's how they're going to ask you, how do you deport 25 million people? Well, you do it the same way they came in, one at a time. You get pulled over, you're driving, you license, driver's license, registration, insurance, and green card. You don't have a green card, detain them, feds come and get them.
Yeah, and I know you've seen the story today. Biden has lost how many? 500,000 illegals have disappeared this year?
Never mind the gotaways, all right? I'm talking about just the ones that so-called have been registered and they're getting the green cards and the benefits and the schools. And I can't wait to see when this school year starts over here. Not that I have anything against those kids. Those kids, it's not their fault that their parents put them in jeopardy. And
yeah, but listen. There's a process. It's what President Trump says. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. Hey, Juan, I got to run for our break. Okay. Listen, callers on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break, back with more of your calls, and there's a lot more to talk about, too. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Man, is it raining hard outside. Back right after this. Your calls, and there's a lot more to talk about, I can hear the rain. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Man, is it raining hard outside. Back right after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the
Steve Kane Show.
On Oldies 95.
Hold on.
96.9.
Do you suffer from neuropathy?
Oh man, listen to the rain. It is really raining out there. Hear that?
Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples cop books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store only, limit 30.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs.
Wow.
Wings, just the
Can you guys hear the rain? I can see it. You guys probably can't see it coming down the windows. Now, if the sun comes up, the sun's trying to rise. I'm looking over the beach, but a lot of clouds.
Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now, you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief on symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table, Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief from mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, Primatene Mist and breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
You've seen the ads on TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get one for free. But you have to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com for this incredible offer. Buy one MyPillow, get another one free. Go to MyPillow.com right now. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Man, is the rain coming down hard outside. Woo. Ooh, boy, I just got this morning an email from Mike Lindell's office. Mike Lindell's people, they're up early in the morning. They sent me an email. This is an amazing special going on right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, 50% off the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. This is the lowest price ever on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. I've been sleeping on my 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for over a year. It will change your life. Sleep is very important when you get up in the middle of the night like I do. You hear how well rested I am in the morning? It's because I'm sleeping on that 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. You get a full rested night's sleep. We ordered ours because my wife was having some back problems. We have a pretty new mattress. We ordered the mattress topper. After one night, she woke up, back pain gone, has not returned. So go to MyPillow.com and order your 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper at the lowest price ever, 50% off, with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Susie. I'm calling from France.
France? Susie in France? Wow.
Well, my mom lives in Delray, so I often go there.
But you're in France right now, or are you in Delray?
I'm in France. I live in France.
Wow. So how'd you find the show? What, on the visiting Delray?
Oh, I followed you for a long time. I've been following you. It's Honey Sue on my email.
Oh, okay.
And I follow you since COVID, found you. So glad to have found you.
Oh, yeah. So you're in France now and listening to us in France. We are international, man. This is awesome. So what's on your mind, France?
No, it's just terrible. I agree with you. It's just terrible. The other day when you looked up the abortion center, I looked it up. You have 11 abortion centers in Florida. That was just one that closed down.
Yeah, but you know, that abortion clinic that I made the YouTube video of, this closed down abortion clinic, was one of the biggest, most active, and the person that ran it years ago was one of the most vocal abortion advocates ever in the state of Florida, and it was a bad place, and the fact that this abortion clinic closed down in Fort Lauderdale is just amazing. I can't tell you how many years that was there. It's been there at least 30 years. At least 30 years it was there, maybe longer. But I can remember it there going back that far.
Everything's going crazy. Even last week when you talked about in Texas, when you had the group of kids that they took to the sex shop. It's disgusting what's going on all over in America.
Well, the liberals have lost their minds. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know,
and you're great. You're fantastic. You are well informed, and I really go for it. You're just, God bless you all. Little by little, we should tear all this falseness down.
Yeah, I know. Why do you live in France? You married to a Frenchman or something?
Yeah, I'm married to a Frenchman.
Oh, really? Really? Wow. How'd you meet? Oh my gosh, you're just like an international traveler. That's awesome. Okay. Hey, listen. So you're MAGA France.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Take care.
Democrats, I can never talk politics with them. They go crazy. They think I am mad. So I'm glad I have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, but you know what's going. You know, you're in France, which is of course the haven for Roman Polanski, who had sex with that. How old was that girl Roman Polanski had sex with? That he fled the country, like 13, 14, something like that, 15 maybe. Yeah, I know. So we're trying to stop America from turning into a place where Roman Polanski can roam free. Yeah. Hey, listen, appreciate the call, France. Okay. All right, take care. Oh, man. We're international here on the Steve Kane Show. You know, she was talking about that sex shop where they took the school field trip to, we were talking about in Texas. Listen to this. A member of the Florida House of Representatives, a Democrat, has asked an online store to prevent libs of TikTok from selling merchandise on their platform. Libs of TikTok offered a promo code for discounts on their merch, and the promo code was groomer. The LGBTQ community says groomer is a slur against them. Anna S. Kamani, who represents Florida's House District 47, piled on to demand to get the popular Twitter account, Libs of TikTok, banned from selling merchandise on Shopify. Because groomer is anti-LGBT. No, it is not anti-LGBT. It is groomer is anti-adults sexualizing children. And I got news for you. Most LGBTQ people are not grooming kids. I know gay people. I work in the radio business, okay? There's gay people. Radio is show business. And anywhere where there's show business, you got the gays, okay? And they're open. And that's the way it is. And you know what? They're not groomers. Not the ones I know. Oh my goodness. Groomer is now a homophobic term? I don't think so. It's a groomer-phobic term. We don't want groomers around. Do you want groomers? Who now? You know, this is it's so interesting when a lot of people, they don't like getting older. Hey, it's life. But as you grow older, you see how things change and develop. And it's so strange. It's bizarre, but it's also interesting. That's why I enjoy history. I went to college, majored in history. And what I find most interesting about history is you see how we got to where we are today. If you go back and back and back, one thing led to another, it's pretty cool. But when you look at liberalism, back in the 80s and 90s, when they were advocating for gay rights, Who would have thought that they would be advocating for adults that are sexualizing very young children in elementary school? Who would have thought that? But that's what's going on now, right? What's happened? What's happened? Now let me play this clip. Let me see here. Callers on hold, stand by. Hold on, do I have this queued up? I know I do. I've just got so many. Listen to this. This is a mother. She has a 3-year-old child who is transgender. That's right, she has a 3-year-old transgender child, and she went on TikTok to tell the world on TikTok how her transgender child came out as transgender.
Kids have to go to the pediatrician a certain number of times for the first few years of their life. It's to make sure they get fully vaccinated, are growing on time, development is as it needs to be, yada, yada, yada. At the 3-year checkup, they ask a question to see if the children know the difference. So the pediatrician looked at Bug, and she said, "Are you a boy or a girl?" Bug looked her in the eye and said, "I'm a girl." The doctor kind of looked at me. I was like, all right, never heard about it before, but whatever. And ever since that day, she has told us that she's a girl. A little under a year ago, she started correcting us on her pronouns. "I'm not a him, I'm a her. Don't call me he. Mommy, I'm not he, I'm she." It has been 2.5 years now that she has been out. I told her father when I figured she was getting close to telling him herself. Didn't want him to respond poorly.
Okay, so she has a child who is named Bug. I hope that's a nickname. Born a boy who at age 3 in the pediatrician's office declared that they were transgender. And they're throwing out pronouns. How does a 3-year-old even know what a pronoun is? And how does a 3-year-old even know what transgender is? See, I've talked about this a little bit. What you've got with these woke parents is it's a new fad. I remember in the early 90s, when George Clooney first became famous on ER, George Clooney started a trend, which was a terrible trend. You know what it was? There was a story somewhere, Entertainment Tonight or something, that George Clooney had bought as a pet for the home a potbelly pig. His little potbelly pig. And next thing you know, everybody was buying potbelly pigs. These little potbelly pigs are so tiny, they could just eat all your scraps. Well, what they didn't tell people is those things get to be 300-500 pounds. And I remember going to the Broward County Humane Society to get a dog, and they had a potbelly pig there, and it was massive, like you'd see on a farm. And it was a trend, right? Golden doodles were a trend for a while. The latest trend is to have a transgender kid. Every wokester parent wants to have a trans child. This is a form of grooming. So they condition their children that don't even know the difference between a boy and a girl, right? They condition them to be trans because it's virtue signaling. They want to be able to go around and say, "I have a trans kid." Yeah, pet rocks. What are some of these other fads people have had? And that's what this is right now. But the only difference is this is damaging. This is very damaging, and it's dangerous. Because these children, at the age of 3, are making changes about their life sometimes that cannot be reversed. There is this parent, in my opinion, if her 3-year-old boy came out as a girl and started living as a girl and started tossing out pronouns, which they don't even, I'd like to ask them what a pronoun is, that child should be removed from that home. That is an unfit parent, in my opinion. What do you think? 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 888-465-2631. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We are here with you weekday mornings from 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. taking your calls on the radio. And, of course, all our calls are screenless. All right, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, back after this. taking your calls on the radio. And, of course, all our calls are screenless. All right, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on, you'll be up after the break. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
VCMG live radio station. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
WPBF 25 First Warning Weather Center. This is meteorologist Brooke Silverine.
Steve Kane Show.
This week will for scattered rain and storms throughout the mid-morning hours and even into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures otherwise upper 80s to the low 90s with a warm breeze out of the southeast. As we go overnight, a few lingering showers possible. Drier, hotter weather for the rest of the week.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
No, it's child abuse is what it
See what's
is.
happening in the community. Have a laugh with some funny memes. And keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
We'll start with some good news first in Broward County. That earlier multi-vehicle crash we had on I-95 heading northbound before Copeland's Road is now cleared from all lanes, and traffic is back at the speed on the approach. From Boca Raton to Jupiter, we're still looking pretty good on the expressways. No accidents on 95 or the Turnpike. But right now in Boca Raton, we are seeing some slow traffic on Glades Road just east of I-95 where there is an overturned vehicle crash. Expect some slowdowns there on the approach. You may want to take an alternate route. We're also seeing some two-way delays now on 95 between Deerfield Beach and Boca. This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. Getting stuck in traffic is part of owning a car. Getting stuck because you don't have the right parts doesn't have to be. That's because eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices, 122 million of them. So keep moving in style at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News Now, I'm Mark Remillard. President Biden making rare comments about his predecessor and what former President Trump failed to do as the January 6th riot was occurring.
The president remotely addressing black police officials, calling out former President Trump's inaction while his supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol. The police were heroes that day.
Where are you going, Jeff?
Courage to act. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
This comes as the House January 6th committee has also released a paper copy of Trump's speech on January 7th, the day after the riot, in which Trump crossed out parts where he would call for the Justice Department to prosecute his supporters who stormed the Capitol. This is ABC News.
Staples has everything for school at great prices.
Oh, physical therapy, huh?
Back to school, you'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples cop books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store only, limit 30.
Think you might have COVID? Have you come into contact with someone who is sick? Are you traveling and need a COVID test? Same-day PCR testing is available at any lab test now of Coral Springs. On the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall. Open Monday through Saturday. No appointment necessary.
Opinions are like everyone's got one. Get yours in The Steve Kane Show.
That's right. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. Just let me recap for people tuning in. This is a liberal parent whose 3-year-old child came out as transgender.
Kids have to go to the pediatrician a certain number of times for the first few years of their life. It's to make sure they get fully vaccinated, are growing on time, development is as it needs to be, yada, yada, yada. At the 3-year checkup, they ask a question to see if the children know the difference. So the pediatrician looked at Bug, and she said, "Are you a boy or a girl?" Bug looked her in the eye and said, "I'm a girl." The doctor kind of looked at me, and I was like, all right, never heard about it before, but whatever. And ever since that day, she has told us that she's a girl. A little under a year ago, she started correcting us on her pronouns. "I'm not a him, I'm a her. Don't call me he. Mommy, I'm not he, I'm she." It has been 2.5 years now that she has been out. I told her father when I figured she was getting close to telling him herself. Didn't want him to respond poorly.
Oh, okay, she didn't want the father to respond poorly, which means the father must have his head screwed on straight. Is that child abuse? Is that grooming? Should that child be removed from that mother? You know, I wonder what would happen in a divorce court child custody hearing if the father who she's concerned is not accepting of the transgender 3-year-old child, went for custody over this. Who do you think would get custody in a court of law today? Oh my goodness. There is only one opening on our very busy board here on the phones at 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana from Louisiana. Yes, Louisiana.
Hey, I just want to respond to the story you just were talking about the 3-year-old.
The 3-year-old transgender child. Yes.
I think that parent, when the child said that, okay, you said that, okay. When I got you home, I'm gonna explain to you what you are. You're a boy. And
yeah, but that's not what she did. That mother took her boy clothes shopping in the girls' department and stopped off at the makeup counter. Yeah. Well, your liberal Democrat Party is promoting that.
Not.
No, you are, not me. No, I'm not promoting it. You are. These are That's a Democrat. That's a Democrat mother.
You was talking about Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Greene.
Yes.
Matt Gaetz made himself look so wimpy when he walked into on January.
He made himself look what? Wimpy.
Wimpy.
Oh, okay.
When he was walking in, he told the people, "I got his fist up like he with them," but on the camera showing that he's running because he's so scared. If you was running, why would you say that?
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen the video of Matt. No, I don't. No. I've not seen a video of Matt Gaetz running. I'll tell you what. You send me a DM on Twitter of. Now, I don't listen. I'm on the radio. I don't have time to do research and start Googling stuff when someone calls me. No, go on. Listen. Stop talking. No, stop. Go online. Find the video of Matt Gaetz running like a coward that you described. DM it to me on Twitter, and I'll read the story and go over it on the radio. You're not doing that. Why? Why do you think? Why you don't? You want to protect Matt Gaetz? Get off the phone. Give me a break. You're going to call in, say something terrible about the man, and then not send it to me? Give me a break. Send me the video of Matt Gaetz running like a coward. You know, they're really after Matt Gaetz. Mike Pence, his chief of staff, gave an interview yesterday and was talking about Matt Gaetz. Listen to this. This is Judas Pence, Judas Pence, his chief of staff, talking about the great Matt Gaetz.
To take it back to Washington, where you just referred, Matt Gaetz, obviously very loyal Trump ally at this point, fired at the the former vice president today, and the comments that Vice President Pence was making. Here's what Matt Gaetz said.
Our America is proudly ultra MAGA, not some low energy roadside rhino safari.
Yeah, I like that. That's great, right? Now they're going to this is CNN. Now they're going to go to Mike Judas Pence's chief of staff.
On that note, let me just say what everybody here knows. Mike Pence will never be president.
That's right.
This guy, not a leader.
Mark?
Well, I don't know if Mike Pence will run for president in 2024, but I don't think Matt Gaetz will have an impact on that. In fact, I'd be surprised if he was still voting. It's more likely he'll be in prison for child sex trafficking by 2024. And I'm actually surprised that Florida law enforcement still allows him to speak to teenage conferences like that. So I'm not too worried about Matt Gaetz. Thanks.
Okay, he's talking about Turning Point USA. That's where Matt Gaetz was speaking and talked about the rhino safari. So Mr. Christian Mike Pence, his chief of staff, is accusing Matt Gaetz of being a pedophile. Where does that come from? It's like talking to Louisiana over there on CNN. That's a new one. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. Richie the bus driver, you're on the radio.
Yeah, this is incredible. The whole damn thing is incredible. I want you to know something. When you opened up about the ID, there was a Marlin picture, a picture of the Marlins. Okay, this was about 8 years ago, and all of a sudden name under a different age. He came from Dominican Republic, and they suspended him from baseball for a while.
Oh, he was lying about his identity and his age.
About his age, he lied about his name. This is a common thing that goes on. It's just ridiculous. They can hide everything. The only thing they can't hide is when they got tattoos on their face and serial numbers all over their body.
Yeah.
No, they're criminals. You know, and as for Matt Gaetz, he's a Superman and he's super honest. And I'll tell you the truth, if I got into a group of these freaks, and I call them freaks like this guy from Louisiana that calls up, they're very hostile. They scream in your face. They try to intimidate. Just look, and they tell you they're for gay people. Look at the gay reporter out with Antifa. What they did to him, they beat him up, they almost killed him, and that guy is gay. The writer for Antifa.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you think the 500,000 lost illegals, the 500,000 illegals that Biden lost, where are they?
States. And
yeah.
They're going to get IDs. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Years ago, well, the cheese line. You remember when the government gave cheese away? And
oh, yeah.
What do you think is going to happen when these people from Central America, South America here, that they're going to get IDs and bellies?
To me, that sounds like a good time to bring the Border Patrol over, right? You free IDs, government issue IDs, then you arrest them. That, like, remember they used to do that? They used to do these roundups for wanted felons that had warrants. They'd tell them they won something, they'd come and collect their prize, and they'd get arrested.
Yeah, well, I knew somebody that got arrested at Pembroke Pines, and they used to be the immigration at the airport. They had a guy trying to get a driver's license that was illegal, and they said, "Hold on, we got a little problem with the computer," and they called up the Border Patrol. It came down and said,
I saw that. I was getting my driver's license renewed many years ago at the office, and there was a guy there, and the police showed up. He was in line right ahead of me, and the police showed up and just they butted in front of me and got around this guy, and he was like, "What's going on?" And the DMV worker says, "Well, I asked you some questions about yourself, and none of it matches up to what's in the system. You're not the person you're claiming to be." And they took him out. I don't know what happened to him, but now guys like that can just show up to Biden's free government ID place, and you get it.
You're gonna get more coming in here when the word gets down in South America. You're gonna get food.
Well, there is going to be a terrorist attack in the future, an Islamic terrorist attack, and they're going to trace it back. And they came across Muslims, if they shave their beard, put on a country western shirt, cowboy boots, and Wrangler jeans, they look like a Mexican. And they come across the border, and boom, they just got to shave the beard.
Real quick, you kidded me about my cars and everything, right? I lived in a little 960 square foot apartment in Hollywood for years. Okay, it was a condominium, 2-1. I remember driving the bus, going down Sample Road to Woodside, and there's a McDonald's. I think you might know.
I know it, yeah, sure.
That road was all busted up, so we had to take a detour, and we went over, and guess what was over there? Big, beautiful homes, government house.
Yeah, Section 8, yeah. That's right. Hey, listen, I got to run for our break. Thanks for the call, Richie. Yeah, that's right. That's what Biden's going to do. Hey, we're going to take our break. Callers on hold, stand by. It is the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, back with your calls and more issues after this. What's going to do? Hey, we're going to take our break. Callers on hold, stand by. It is the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, back with your calls and more issues after this.
Wake up and smell the truth. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center.
Steve Kane Show.
See the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward into art class.
A 4-foot replica of the Statue of Liberty using elbow macaroni?
With glue and art supplies from Staples.
By tomorrow.
Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons and Polly Pocket folders are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store, only limit 30.
Men, do you suffer from ED? If so, you know it can be very frustrating, not just for you, but your partner too.
Rome, you beat me. I was telling myself, am I going to block the sex chat first, or will Rome? And boom, you got it before me.
Call now and get your erection back on demand. Ladies, you can make an appointment for your man too. 561-320-8893.
I wasn't quick enough. Rome is quick on those sex bots. Your system said I did it? No, I was doing it. I hit the timed out button by accident because Rome actually banned them. Lady Thor. Yeah, the new gay Thor. Have you seen? Oh my goodness. There we go. Coming back.
Probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Ready to get fired up? Just 60 seconds and you'll be racing for the phone. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Huge announcement from Mike Lindell and MyPillow. They sent me an email from Mike Lindell's office this morning. The lowest price ever on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. They come in every size mattress from twin all the way up to California King and every size in between. And I have one on my bed. It changed my life. I get a full rested night's sleep like I've never gotten before since I've had my MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The lowest price ever. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. This is the lowest price ever. Take advantage of it while it lasts. All right, we're going to go back to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, it's Jim in Cincinnati.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, you were talking about the people who basically get their free witness protection program. And something I haven't, by crossing the border, getting down there and just walking across, they've got a new identity. It's something you don't hear much, and I wonder if it plays into any of this on the Democratic side, is criminals, American criminals in the United States that would have warrants, say even a murder warrant, if they got to cross that border, they could walk in, get a new identity, and this side of biometric identification, they'd be free to roam, free to have the new life, and they'd never have to...
Now that won't that wouldn't work, and you'd have to really be able to pass yourself off as a Latin American person. Maybe it could work, but if they have your... Well, I would hope. Well, if you tried that and you're white, you're done. They're not going to do it. You can't be white and get away with that, and they'll run your prints. But you're calling from Cincinnati, Ohio. I remember when I moved to Florida from Columbus, Ohio, and my parents registered me for school. Man, did we have to come up with all kinds of information. Records, birth certificates, inoculations, utility bills, all kinds of other things before they let me go to school. Now, you look at what's going on there. They're giving these people, these border jumpers, a whole new life, new identity, and they're paying for everything for them. And of course, their children who are here due to no fault of their own, they don't need any of those things that we had to produce to start school.
Do you believe that Donald, because it's made me wonder, do you believe, because I've heard things, but do you see the possibility of him putting a noose around the whole thing and saying, "You're all out of here, get him out"?
Yeah. Yes. Well, the first thing he'll do is finish the wall, unless Kerry Lake does it first, right? No, he'll finish the wall. That'll be the first thing he does, and yeah, they'll start mass deportations. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, with as many that are coming in.
See, there's many reasons why they do this. A lot of these local communities like them coming in because they get money from the federal government for it, right? They put their kids in school. The school districts get money from the government based on the enrollment numbers. There's all kinds of corruption going on here. It's not about one thing only why they have an open border. We have our listener cruise, right? Our MAGA cruise every year. Our next one's January 28th. I just can't go and get on that cruise ship. We're going to Puerto Rico, which is the United States, but we're going to the British Virgin Islands, I have to have a passport. I have to have photo ID, and my daughter is going with me. She's got to have her passport. We have to be documented. We cannot be undocumented Americans and get on the cruise ship.
Right. From what you say and from what we're talking about, Americans have to go through all that, get on a cruise, whereas if you're from anywhere else or have any different look about you, you get into the United States and all that stuff is achievable. The passport.
Yeah, and not only that, when we come back to the United States, we have to go through customs and produce our passport documents. I cannot say I'm an undocumented American. They won't let me to the parking lot to get to my car. I've got to show my documents, my passport, to get through.
Never having had a passport, can an illegal alien who's coming here without a passport acquire a passport?
Well, if they're giving you a new government-issued ID, yeah, of course, you can get everything. That's why once they get that government-issued ID, it's an open kingdom for life. Yeah. See, you're up in Cincinnati, you don't deal with that too much. You're not one of the borders.
I'm in construction, and I'm here to say I've been in it all my life. I'm 60 years old. And just this past year and a half, honestly, the population of a construction site, which we have a lot of Latinos and Mexicans in it before, it is primarily now. It is the master population on a construction site.
In Ohio, really?
Well, northern Kentucky and Cincinnati are pretty much the same. But yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Amazing.
Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's John in Wellington.
Hey, John. What's up?
The point keeps being brought up that it's not the kid's fault that the parents brought them here illegally, but that's not a reason to allow them to stay in the country.
Correct.
If I were to rob a bank in order to make a better life for my kids, and I got caught, the feds would take the money from me. They would not guarantee that my kids would have a better life. So if you get caught doing a crime, you get put back where you belong. That's the way it should be.
Well, giving the government-issued IDs to illegals that have just jumped the border is just a disaster. First off, it's completely outrageous. Their reasoning for it was so they can get government benefits. What the hell? What the hell? People are. We are in a recession right now. We are in a recession, and it's like official now. I know the White House is. Right out of George Orwell's 1984, they're changing the meanings of words and everything now to say we're not, but we are. And I was talking at the top of the show, this is the most difficult time for young parents. Kids are going back to school. They got to buy clothes, new shoes, school supplies. Young parents are struggling. And for the White House to announce, well, we need to give these border jumpers government IDs so they can get all this stuff for free that we're struggling for, and staying up all night, not getting sleep, wondering if we'll be able to afford to get the shoes and the clothes and the school supplies, that pisses people off.
Almost immediate where these illegals are concerned. They get the benefits, they get money, they get an education, everything is automatic. And if you're an American citizen and you're down on your luck and you're trying to apply for food stamps, first of all, it's going to take about a month or two. And I know somebody that really is in desperate need of food stamps to feed their family. The food stamp was granted, and they ended up getting $20 a month.
Oh, wow.
What are you going to do with $20?
I guess it sounds like a diet. $20 a month. How did that figure? How did they determine that?
I couldn't tell you, but they did everything online. They applied for it. It took about a month and a half for it to be approved. And
what an insult! But to the illegals, that you think the illegals are getting $20 a month?
No, heck no, absolutely not. They're getting everything, and they're getting it spoon-fed to them. You have seen the videos of people coming across the border, and the Americans standing there giving them documents, giving them pieces of paper that are worth money.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, listen, I got to run for a break. John in Wellington, thanks for the call. Oh, man. It's time for a bottom of the hour break. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Back with your calls after this. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. Wow. Did you guys see that lightning?
2631.
Did you see that lightning behind me? Woo! Be right back.
Radio every morning. It's the Steve Kane Show on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
WPBF 25 First Warning Weather Center. This is meteorologist Brooke Silverane. Today being the wettest day of this week, look for scattered rain and storms throughout the mid-morning hours and even into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures otherwise upper 80s to the low 90s with a warm breeze out of the southeast. As we go overnight, a few lingering showers possible, drier, hotter weather for the rest of the week.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
We'll start with some good news first in Broward County. That earlier multi-vehicle crash we had on I-95 heading northbound before Copeland's Road is now clear
Steve Kane
for all
Show.
lanes, and traffic is back up to speed on the approach. From
Steve
Boca
Kane
Raton to
Show.
Jupiter, we're still looking pretty good on the expressways. No accidents on 95 or the Turnpike. But right now in Boca Raton, we are seeing some slow traffic on Gladesville just east of I-95 where there is an overturned vehicle crash. Expect some slowdowns there on the approach. You may want to take an alternate route. We're also seeing some two-way delays now on 95 between Deerfield Beach and Boca. This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. Getting stuck in traffic is part of owning a car. Getting stuck because you don't have the right parts doesn't have to be. That's because eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices, 122 million of them. So keep moving and moving in style at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Don't spend thousands of dollars on a fancy hotel suite when you can feel 5-star luxury in your very own home. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my Pillow bathrobe. It's the most comfortable robe I've ever worn. Made with luxurious cotton, it comes in men's and women's in a huge variety of colors. And right now, you can order yours for 30% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Ad paid for by the Centennial Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file a lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-860-3973. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-860-3973. That's 800-860-3973. Again, 800-860-3973.
Think you might have COVID? Have you come into contact with someone who is sick? Are you traveling and need a COVID test? Same-day PCR testing is available at any lab test now at Boca in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is. South of Palmetto on the east side of 441. Open Monday through Saturday. No appointment necessary.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, Liberal Al John. No invite for you.
Everyone but Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex out of Fort Lauderdale with ports of call in Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included. To join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
Live, local, and in your face. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. You know, the left have set up a standard that we're just never going to be able to live up to, this woke standard. Listen to this story, okay? Lesbian bar shut down by wokesters. I'm not kidding. Over 200 lesbians lined up for the exciting opening of Doc Marie's, a new lesbian bar. That excitement lasted less than a week as complaints poured in. Doc Marie's, named after Dr. Marie Akey. Now, I happen to know who Dr. Marie Akey is. Dr. Marie Akey was a doctor way back when who was a female doctor who performed abortions when they were illegal. Doc Marie's, the lesbian bar, was declared not inclusive enough for trans or people of color. They're calling the lesbian bar owners transphobic racist. This is in Portland, Oregon, by the way. Despite mask mandates being lifted in Portland, patrons demanded more prevention measures. Patrons claimed Doc Marie's had culturally appropriate art on the walls. The employees rebelled. There aren't just lesbians. There are trans. There are people of color. So you can't, listen, if you can't even have a lesbian bar anymore, I mean, how are we, as like regular MAGA people, going to live up to the woke standards if even lesbians who are liberal in Portland, Oregon, can't even open up a lesbian bar? A lesbian bar is transphobic now, even when it's named after an abortion pioneeress. Oh my goodness. These people are out of their minds. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Marjorie from Miami.
Oh, hey, Miami. Good morning. What's on your mind?
I'm sorry I caught the end of the illegal thing. I wanted to tell you very quickly something about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this whole woke thing is just disgusting, and how they're grooming their children, and I don't know what's to become of this country, honestly. I work for a very popular hospital in Broward. I do scheduling. One of the services that we do for the community is to give free vaccines and physicals for children of South Broward. Every day what I encounter is illegal. And they tell you all the time, oh, how much is it? And I go, no, it's free. And they get really happy. And the thing is that we have to ask them if they have insurance. We can't do the service. So every time I ask them, what insurance does the child have? Oh, no, we're immigrants. We just got here. And they just tell you, like, very happily. And it's horrible.
So they don't have insurance, you can't treat them?
To the children of the community that do not have.
Oh, my goodness. My daughter, her health insurance each month is one of the largest expenses in my family budget. So I'm not kidding. My daughter's health insurance is very expensive. But you're telling me that they've been here just crossed the border, they don't have to pay for their kids' insurance? It's like covered?
No, they don't have to pay for the free service.
Oh my goodness.
And they'll tell you right in your face, I'm an immigrant, we just got here.
I'm an immigrant. Yeah. I'm a Native American. I've been here my whole life. And you know what? I don't even have insurance. I do not have health insurance. I am an uninsured person. It's too expensive. The reason I don't have health insurance is because of Obamacare. Barack Obama wrecked it. I'll get insurance when I'm old enough for Medicare at 65 or however old you get it. But, the way that Obama wrecked the industry, I would have a high monthly premium and then a massive deductible. I would have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars before I had 1 penny of health insurance coverage. That's not health insurance. So I'm uninsured.
Insurance, then you get up $700, $800 like it happened to me on my taxes twice in a row.
Yeah, well, that's gone now, thanks to Trump.
Thanks to our president.
Well, listen, I hear an accent. Are you an immigrant or the child of immigrants? Which is it? You have an accent, you're down in Miami, so I don't know, it's hard to tell. Are you an immigrant or the child of an immigrant? What's the deal?
I am a political refugee.
From Cuba?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me tell you something here. This story that's going out right now of giving anyone across the border a free government-issued ID so that they can qualify for government benefits. My experience is the people that get the most upset about that are legal immigrants.
I'm not upset. I am mad. I am retarded mad. I'm sorry, Brian.
Retarded mad.
I'm retarded mad. I have an aunt and cousins that came here about 7 years ago. She didn't work. She didn't drop a sweat, a little bit of sweat in this country to work. And she's getting Medicare. She gets $800. And guess what she does? She sends it to my cousin in Cuba, who is a doctor, by the way, but only makes $60 a month.
Wow. As a doctor in Cuba, or does he do something else?
No, he's a doctor. He's a doctor, but he has the only thing that he can do is work side jobs and
Oh my goodness.
or eggs or something for his children. That's what he does.
Well, I don't know. Michael Moore made a whole movie about it. He went to Cuba and said that they have great health care in Cuba. Michael Moore made a whole movie about it. I remember. I watched it.
Great out there. I can show you videos of the stretchers and the.
Nah, we know. Listen. Listen. The workers' paradise down there in Cuba. That's what AOC. That's what Bernie Sanders want to have here, right?
Sheets when you go in the hospital because they don't have any.
That's right. That's true. I've heard that. I've had Cubans tell me that. Yeah. All right. I know it's awful. I appreciate the call. All right. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
I wanted to mention something about American nationalism that you brought up earlier. I was in the park and we're talking politics, and a Chinese person comes over from China, who's now an American citizen, and says, I left China because I couldn't stand the government there, and now China is trying to turn America into China. I said, what do you mean? Well, first they bought our buildings, and then they got us all dependent on all their goods, and now because we owe them $1 trillion, the government's allowing them to buy farmland and farm next to government.
How do you know this? How do you know this Chinaman?
Oh, I didn't know him. I just met him in the park.
You met him at the park? You talked to strange men in parks?
He came over with us. We were talking.
You were approached by a strange man in what kind of park was this? A strange man you didn't know approached you?
Approached us? Yeah, well, we were all played pickleball players. We were playing pickleball.
Pickleball? What's pickleball?
It's the thing that wrecked paddleball.
Oh. So what's this Chinaman's name? Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But anyway, so he said.
Do you believe this?
Now Biden wants to take away the sanctions. I mean the duties that were put on from Trump. I said, so did you vote for Biden? No, I voted for Trump. So he's now an American.
So you're sitting in the park, and you just happen to be approached by a Chinese man who went through all the news stories involving China and the United States lately. Did he have any comment on TikTok? I don't know. I know I've done this to you before, and you get upset, but I don't believe the story. I mean, it just seems a little strange to me, because he went through this strange Chinaman that you didn't know just walked up to you at a park, and then he just gave you an opinion on all the top news stories of the past few days involving the United States and China. It sounds like I'm calling BS on this one, Doug.
So because you'd be wrong. I hate to see you be wrong, but we were talking politics, and he overheard us. So yeah, I guess he figured as somebody back in Trump, he could come over because I was actually.
I don't know. I'll throw that out to the jury of public opinion. Do you all think Doug is telling the truth about this strange Chinaman that approached him in the park and rattled off all the news stories of the week involving China? Do you believe him, or do you call BS on that too? I'll let the court of public opinion decide that one, Doug. I don't believe Doug. I just, Doug's a nice guy, and I met Doug at our last personal appearance at the Festival Flea Market, the one where the armed security removed Steve Kane and me from, and he works out. He's in shape. He's built. I mean, he's got some arms on him, so I don't want to give him too hard of a time, but I don't believe him. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the hour. When we come back, I'll take some more calls, but jump into some other issues as well. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this. Don't believe him. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the hour. When we come back, I'll take some more calls, but jump into some other issues as well. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
They're the most polarizing talk show hosts in all of South Florida. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Mornings 6 to 9 on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Are you feeling over the hill, tired, sluggish? Take taking those midday naps? Just not feeling yourself? There is help. If you want to look and feel like you did when you were young, call Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey and talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. Take it from me. I'm a patient. It works.
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Joe. See, what'll happen is Doug, for some reason, has my cell phone number. I don't know how. He'll send me, anytime I call him out, he's got my cell phone number. He'll send me a long text about this long, pissed off at me.
Folders are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store, only limit 30.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location.
Now, I may have a guest on in the last segment of the show after the Gold Report. It's a maybe. If I do, it's a guest that I cannot have on YouTube. So if I do, I'll tell you during the Gold Report, and I'll have to shut down the YouTube feed. You'll have to listen on iHeart or the radio. But I don't know yet for sure if it's going to be today.
Thank you. An honest auto mechanic.
It's somebody you all know.
I don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Think you might have COVID? Have you come into contact with someone who is sick? Are you traveling and need a COVID test? Same-day PCR testing is available at any lab test now of Coral Springs, on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall. Open Monday through Saturday. No appointment necessary.
I've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over. Your insurance goes up. You lose your license. You total your car. You kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Smarter than 95,000 milligrams of B6. Get smarter with the Steve Kane Show. Mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I was just reading in Front Page Magazine, which is very good, frontpagemag.com. That's David Horowitz's publication. David Horowitz is a good guy. We've had him on the program many, many times. You know, Tlaib, the Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, there's a story here. Tlaib campaign events were organized by accused jihad financiers. You know, here's the thing. Do you remember there was, I can't remember which particular strike this was, but President Trump ordered a major strike. I can't remember who it was against. Maybe you all will remember. And Nancy Pelosi and the media and they flipped out because he did not tell Congress of the attack. Remember this? It was in the Middle East. It was on an Islamic terrorist. It might have been ISIS. I don't remember. The reason that President Trump did not tell Congress about the attack on the jihadis was because of Tlaib. You know, Tlaib, remember when she first got elected to Congress, had CARE, Council of American Islamic Relations. She brought them to Congress, and those CARE leaders were walking through the halls of Congress like they owned the joint. Terrible, terrible. They're bad people. And that's why, you know, when this story comes out, David Horowitz is awesome. He's a great guy. And the work he does at Front Page Magazine is unbelievable stuff. But when a story comes out, Tlaib campaign events were organized by accused jihad financiers, that actually helps her, believe it or not. That helps her. That firms up her support among her constituents. That's the way it is. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Joel. Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
I'm going to say I believe Doug because I've had similar experiences. You know, if I'm in an area and I hear somebody talking politics, I might interject it myself. And
yeah, but it happens to Doug all the time, Joellen. Sometimes he's at the grocery store. It happens to him all the time. It never happens to me like that, you know. But he's always got a story where he runs into someone that has a connection, an opinion, and an experience like that. And this week, there's a bunch of stories here in Florida in particular. Governor DeSantis, the greatest governor ever, is wants to pass laws stopping the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, from buying land in Florida. And I don't believe Doug. He's a nice guy, but I don't believe him.
I mean, I'm friendly, and if I'm standing in line, and if something sparks or something, then yeah.
Okay, when's the last time that happened? Probably, yeah. Doug's always got one. He's always got a story like that, and he's always approached by strangers who, you just don't have enough experience listening to Doug's calls.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
Now that I brought it to your attention, he may not do it for a while now because he's probably ticked off. But
Backdates. I love Backdates. I'm going to Google that that video, whatever.
Okay, here's the thing with Matt Gaetz. Let me revisit this, okay, because I love Matt Gaetz and I want to put everything in context. Mike Judas Pence, his chief of staff, was on CNN. And Matt Gaetz made a comment about the abortion protesters, the pro-abortion people. Here's Matt Gaetz's comment on that.
Your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Okay. And then he said they don't have to worry about getting pregnant because of the way they look. And then he spoke at Turning Point USA in Tampa over the weekend, and CNN did this segment on Matt Gaetz, and they had on the chief of staff for Mike Judas Pence. And let me play. This is the segment.
To take it back to Washington, where you just referred, Matt Gaetz, obviously a very loyal Trump ally at this point, fired at the vice president, the former vice president today, and the comments that Vice President Pence was making. Here's what Matt Gaetz said.
Our America is proudly ultra MAGA, not some low-energy roadside rhino safari. On that note, let me just say what everybody here knows. Mike Pence will never be president. Nice guy, not a leader.
Mark?
Well, I don't know if Mike Pence will run for president in 2024, but I don't think Matt Gaetz will have an impact on that. In fact, I'd be surprised if he was still voting. It's more likely he'll be in prison for child sex trafficking by 2024. And I'm actually surprised that Florida law enforcement still allows him to speak to teenage conferences like that. So I'm not too worried about Matt Gaetz. Thanks.
Okay. So do you know what he's referencing with this creep that worked for Pence, his chief of staff, is talking about?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. Because
the girl that he was accused of having sex with.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, let me tell it, because this story, because it says a lot about Pence that he would have a slanderer like this working for him as his chief of staff, right? I mean, the way that the boss is sets the tone for the entire workforce. So when you hear that guy talking, that's how Pence talks in private. Okay, here's the deal. It was a year or two ago, I can't remember if it was a year or 2 years ago, but we talked about it a lot, and I defended Matt Gaetz from the beginning, and I was proven right. There was a guy that used to be friends with Matt Gaetz that was facing a long stretch in prison for some type of financial fraud case, and he was trying to get years shaved off his long sentence. So he started saying things about Matt Gaetz. Among them, Matt Gaetz took a 17-year-old prostitute on a trip to, I think it was the Bahamas. That trip had his fiance with him. I don't think the fiance would let Matt Gaetz bring his 17-year-old hooker with him. But one thing they never produced was the girl. Where's the underage girl? The victim. Never named, never talked about, never interviewed. And then it turned out he was totally cleared of that. The guy made everything up. And it was well reported that the guy made everything up. And Matt Gaetz was completely cleared in that. It was totally BS. But you got Mike Pence as chief of staff feeling right at home on CNN slandering the man. It's disgusting.
Yeah, well, so is Mike Pence. But,
yes, he is.
One last thing is the free ID. You know, what us Americans have to go through to get a license, a Social Security card, a birth certificate these days. I mean, it is crazy. And for these people just to walk up and get free ID, that is offensive. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you something. For women, it's even more difficult. My wife, when she had to renew her license, and we could not find our marriage license, it was we couldn't find it. I had to go to the court. It took weeks to get it. She was going to have to get her license with her maiden name as opposed to her married name, and we'd been married for many, many years, like 15 years when this happened, maybe 20. You know, but you jump the border illegally, they just give you're whoever you say you are. Your name is what you say it is. Your birth date is what you say it is. No, you have no documents. So how do they issue an accurate identification?
Well, I wonder how many of these people are actually going to go to the polls and vote.
All you need is the government-issued ID for everything. Hey, Joe Allen, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben, what's up?
So I want to bring up something that you were talking about earlier, where Trump made an attack and Pelosi got all hurt about it. Was it? Were you talking about Soleimani?
It might have been. It might have been.
I think the reason I wanted to bring that up is, one, I just think it's a beautiful contrast between foreign policy of someone who never had any political experience versus foreign policy of someone who's supposedly an expert and has a foreign policy school. I think at the University of Pennsylvania for Biden or Delaware, I mean, it just goes to show you how, Trump comes in, no new wars, he keeps the Abraham Accords, peace in the Middle East, stability throughout the world. And then, even if you want to talk about how he handled Latin American countries and helping us with the border problem, and then contrast that with Biden, who is a full-scale screw-up across the board, and he's supposed to be the expert. I think that shows you,
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think, people forget. Trump was
President Trump is the first and only president since the end of World War II that did not start a new conflict. I think about that, and that goes for President Reagan too, because we went into Grenada. With him, Bush 1 went into Panama and then the Gulf War. He is the only president not to start a new conflict. Think about that.
That should be an achievement that's more widely broadcast. When after the election, it came out that it had the population known about 5 key things that Trump achieved, like energy independence and no new wars. I think 13 to 15% of people.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, look what he had going up against him. Look at this guy Vindman. Vindman was born in the Soviet Union, in Ukraine, actually, when it was part of the Soviet Union. So we have an ex-Soviet who the Ukrainians wanted to make the head of their military, reporting the President of the United States to the Inspector General. They impeach him over it. I mean, this President Trump had things against him that we cannot even fathom. But you know what? President Trump said the other day he's going to fire everybody. He's going to, yeah.
Yeah, that 50,000,
on day one, he's going to fire 50,000 government workers. He knows what's going on now, and when he comes in for his second and non-consecutive term, it's going to be a whole new world.
That would probably be one of the most significant moves any Republican president has ever done, because people talk limited government, but they never do.
Well, it's because the federal workforce is unionized and they vote Democrat and donate to the Democrats. So the Federal Workers Union is like the secret government. They control the government because the federal government workforce is so huge. It may be the largest union in existence today, or at least the most powerful union. It may be.
Probably, I would buy it, but man, when I heard that would be the sweetest thing.
And he'll do it. I got to run for our break, but he'll do it on day one. They'll have it all drawn up right after the inauguration. He'll sit down on the Capitol steps and sign the order, and 50,000 government workers fired. Hey, got to run. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back with your calls right after this break. Hey, got to run. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back with your calls right after this break.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music.
WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
With the WPBM 25 First Warning Weather Center, this is meteorologist Brooke Silverine. Today being the wettest day this week, look for scattered rain and storms throughout the mid-morning hours and even into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures otherwise upper 80s to low 90s with a warm breeze out of the southeast. As we go overnight, a few lingering showers possible, drier, hotter weather for the rest of the week.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
Good news in Boca Raton. Earlier rollover crash clear now on Glades Road just east of I-95. Emergency vehicles have also vacated the I-95 southbound ramp to Glades Road. Traffic is still a little bit slower out there right now due to the rain. I-95 is pretty slow between Deerfield Beach and Boca, so we're going to take the turnpike instead. We're also seeing some southbound slowdowns on 95 passing Atlantic Avenue. The turnpike just a little bit slow right now to the north passing Lake Worth and Southern. This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care centers, the Napa network has everything you need to get up and go. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Mark Ermelar. President making rare comments about his predecessor and what former President Trump failed to do as the January 6th riot was occurring.
The president remotely addressing black police officials, calling out former President Trump's inaction. All his supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol. Police were heroes that day. Donald Trump lacked their courage to act. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
This comes as the House January 6th committee has also released a paper copy of Trump's speech on January 7th, the day after the riot, in which Trump crossed out parts where he would call for the Justice Department to prosecute his supporters who stormed the Capitol. This is ABC News.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad. Your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples cop books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store. Only limit 30.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
Get it off your chest. Just call in 888-GO-KANE-1. Hello. Thank us later.
Dark day outside. Welcome back, everyone. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right, now I hear some screaming down the hall. I hope everyone's okay. I want to get into something. Marco Rubio, who is running in a very difficult Senate race here in Florida. I was talking about this last week with Val Demings. You know, he's running up against Val Demings, who has the National Democrat Party behind her big time, crafting a very dishonest campaign, trying to pass her off as a Republican when she's running as a Democrat. But anyway, Marco Rubio was called out over the weekend on the Sunday shows by Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary. And Marco Rubio has responded to Mayor Pete. So let me play you this clip of Mayor Pete, and then I'll talk about that a little bit. Then we'll hear from Marco Rubio. Okay, here's Mayor Pete on the Sunday shows, and he's talking about Marco Rubio refusing to vote for a national law legalizing at the national level gay marriage.
If he's got time to fight against Disney, I don't know why he wouldn't have time to help safeguard marriages like mine. Look, this is really, really important to a lot of people. It's certainly important to me. I started my day, as I try to do on weekends. I try to give Chasten a little bit of a break and do breakfast with both of our twins. And that alone, that's no small thing, as every parent of small kids knows. It was one of those days where the tray table wasn't quite fitting into the high chair, and I'm trying to make sure that they're busy enough with their little cereal puffs to give me enough time to chop up the banana and get the formula ready. And it just, I don't know, that half hour my morning had me thinking about how much I depend on and count on my spouse every day. And our marriage deserves to be treated equally. And I don't know why this would be hard for a senator or a congressman. I don't understand how such a majority of House Republicans voted no on our marriage on as recently as Tuesday, hours after I was in a room with a lot of them talking about transportation policy, having what I thought were perfectly normal conversations with many of them on that subject, only for them to go around the corner and say that my marriage doesn't deserve to continue. If they don't want to spend a lot of time on this, they can vote yes and move on. And that would be really reassuring for a lot of families around America, including mine.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg, thank you so much for...
Yeah, thank you so much for your BS. All right, now, I played that clip yesterday, but Marco Rubio has responded since he was being called out by Mayor Pete. This thing about having some federal legislation legalizing gay marriage, to my knowledge, I'm not a lawyer like the great one, Mark Levin, but to my knowledge, there's not a federal law about regular straight marriage, heterosexual marriage. Marriage is done at the local level, the state and county level, right? When my wife and I got married, we got a marriage license at the county courthouse. We didn't go to the United States office of something, okay? So the reason that many people in Congress are not supporting this codifying of gay marriage at the federal level is because that's not how it works. We don't have heterosexual regular marriages codified. But everyone's codifying everything now by the federal government. The way it works, the states have an agreement. States recognize marriages and divorces across state lines, right? So if you get married in, even in the U.S. territories, if you get married in Guam or the U.S. Virgin Islands, it is recognized in Alaska, in Florida, everywhere else. It's done at the state level. And what's going on here that I just don't see people picking up on what's going on here. The Democrats are losing. They got nothing. And they're trying to get conservative Christians arguing with them over gay rights to try to bring some gays to the Democrat Party because they got no issues. So Marco Rubio responded to Mayor Pete. Here's Marco Rubio.
We have a Harvard-educated transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, who apparently never learned that there's a difference between the state level and the federal level. The Disney fight was a state fight because our legislature rightfully passed a law that said that we don't want our public schools indoctrinating 6- and 7-year-olds in the transgender agenda. And I supported that law. But what I focus on at the federal level, in the Senate, are federal problems that matter to real people, real problems. I'll give you a real problem. We have a transportation secretary named Pete Buttigieg who believes that highways can be racist, who believes that $5 gas, which is killing working Americans, that $5 gas is a great thing because that means people are going to drive less, or because everyone's now going to go out and buy a $65,000 electric car with a Chinese battery in it. I'm going to focus on the real problems. I'm not going to focus on the agenda that dictated by a bunch of affluent elite liberals and a bunch of Marxist misfits who sadly today control the agenda of the modern Democratic Party.
Yeah, there he goes. He's right on. So, Marco Rubio needs all of us to support him because he's in a tough race against this Val Demings creature, I tell you, she's bad news. She is bad, bad news. And Marco Rubio needs every MAGA person here in Florida supporting him. But but even Marco Rubio didn't point out we don't have a federal law for straight marriage. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But Mayor Pete probably doesn't know that. He's not very bright, even though he went to Oxford. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Greg Carey from Coral Springs. How are you?
All right, Greg. What's up?
Very good. Very quickly, I'm a retired New York City police officer. They made a big mistake in New York with the mayor, that he was a cop and he would be so good for everybody. The mayor in New York is the worst thing they ever did. But Florida, don't make that mistake and vote for Val
Demings.
She was a cop. She was useless then and should be worse for that.
I'd like to know when is the Mayor Adams, I'd like to know when the last time he put cuffs on someone when he was a cop. Other than, partying after the club with a lady friend. I mean, like an arrest. When's the last time he arrested someone? I mean, this guy, I was watching Mayor Adams. This was a couple months back. You probably saw this because you follow what goes on in New York. Mayor Adams is with his posse, and they're looking out of a window in the middle of the day, and he's surrounded also by his New York City police security detail, and out the window there's two guys fighting. What did Mayor Adams do? He called 911. Instead of, he had cops with him, he's a cop, and Mayor Giuliani would have gone down there and arrested those guys.
You're right, 100%. Florida, don't make a mistake. Don't put her in. It'll be a big, we'll go.
Yeah, all right, appreciate the call. This is the thing with this Marco Rubio race, and I know a lot of MAGA Republicans don't like Marco Rubio. You got to get over that. See, with the this campaign with Val Demings is being run by top Democrats at the national level. I see her ads on television. I've been to her website. She's very active she's an old lady. She's very active on TikTok, and she's very polished, and she's good. I hate to say it. She knows how to pass herself off. She's trying to pass herself off as a Republican. I was talking last week. As of last week, she has spent $11 million in radio, television, and online ads already. Marco Rubio spent less than $500,000. Okay? He needs our support. He needs to get up there to Mar-a-Lago and get President Trump to have a rally for him. He really does. He really does. And he needs Ron DeSantis to come out too. Hardcore for him. He really, and as well as Matt Gaetz and other popular Florida Republicans. A lot of conservatives can be fooled by a Trojan horse like Val Demings because, it's what the caller was talking about, the retired cop from New York with Mayor Adams. I remember when Mayor Adams was running, it was being reported by people what he was like. He wasn't a real cop. Terrible, and they said, oh, no, he's not a Democrat, he's a cop, but you got to run as a Democrat to be elected in New York. And that's just stupid. A lot of conservatives have blinders on when it comes to people that are police and African American. And there's a lot of conservatives that are recovered liberals. They used to be liberals. And anytime someone has an addiction to anything, liberalism, crack, alcohol, they can slide, they slip a little bit. And a lot of recovered liberals that are now MAGA conservatives slip back in to their wokeness, and they see someone who's African American and a retired cop, and then they want to support them and vote for them. It's very dangerous. She's BLM, okay? She is soft on crime. Orlando, Florida is a dump. I don't care what, her husband's mayor up there. She was a cop there. I mean, look at that fight they just had at Universal Studios Orlando. It's a high crime, trashy area, Orlando. They were cooking the books on the crime stats, just like in Parkland with Sheriff Scott Israel prior to the shooting. Listen, we're going to take our break. More about that after this. Yeah, Orlando. They were cooking the books on the crime stats, just like in Parkland with Sheriff Scott Israel prior to the shooting. Listen, we're going to take our break. More about that after this.
The Steve Kane Show, telling it like it is, whether you like it or not. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Ad paid for by the Centennial Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated
Oh my goodness.
water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file a lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-860-3973. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-860-3973. That's 800-860-3973. Again, 800-860-3973.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward into art class.
A 4-foot replica of the Statue of Liberty using elbow macaroni?
With glue and art supplies from Staples.
By tomorrow.
Right now, 24-count Crayola crayons and Polly Pocket folders are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store, only limit 30.
Our dogs and cats want 4 things: food, water, our love, and a My Pillow pet bed. And let's face it, when they get older, they really need that comfort. Available in 3 sizes and in many different colors. And your furry family member will sleep as well as you do, because the My Pillow pet bed has that same patented fill inside as the pillows. Order your My Pillow pet bed for 50% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call 1-800-716-4879.
Grab your coffee and get ready to be triggered. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Huge announcement from Mike Lindell and My Pillow. They sent me an email this morning, and this is a big one. The 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper, 50% off. This is the 3-inch mattress topper, the lowest price ever, 50% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. I've been sleeping on that 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper for over a year, and let me tell you, a well-rested full night's sleep is vital for me getting up in the middle of the night to be on the air here so early in the morning. We got the My Pillow 3-inch mattress topper because my wife was having some back problems, and boom, after one night sleeping on it, her back pain was gone. It has not returned. If you have an old lumpy, bumpy mattress, you know how much mattresses cost. They cost a lot. I've had cars that cost less than your average mattress. I have. The 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper, the lowest price ever, 50% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. Okay, so Biden, you know, there's been a major push to get him to announce he's not running, and it's not going to happen. I know a lot of people are saying that he is not willingly going to announce he's not running for re-election. People don't walk away from that, okay? And his wife, Jill Biden, she's as corrupt as he is. She looks like a kindergarten teacher to a lot of people. But look, she raised Hunter. What a great job she did, huh? And then their daughter. She raised their daughter. She's in and out of rehab more than Hunter, right? Purposefully leaving her diary, saying things about her father. Ooh, boy. You know? And of course, her husband, Corn Pop's best buddy, Joe Biden. And you think these people are just going to say, I don't want to be first lady, I don't want to be president anymore, and it ain't going to happen. But there's a big divide in the Democrat Party that every day there's something new. And, you know, President Trump used to say in his speeches, his rallies, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together. Well, that is not the case anymore. And hardly a day goes by you don't see some slippage there from the Democrats. Listen to this. Cori Bush, liberal member of the Congressional Black Caucus, giving an interview, and she's asked about Biden running. Listen to this.
Do you want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
She's got to go.
Yeah, You hear the handler? The handler's trying to stop the interview. She's got to go.
Do you want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
She's got to go.
Yeah,
That's an easy question. That's not going to take long. Do you want to see Joe Biden?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. I don't want to answer that question.
Wow. Well, that non-answer is an answer, right? I don't want to answer that question. I thought you didn't have time to answer it. Yes or no would have taken less time than this fakeness that you're at. You work for the government. You have nowhere to be.
Do you want to see Joe Biden run for a second term?
She's got to go.
Yeah,
That's an easy question. That's not going to take long. Do you want to see Joe Biden?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
He's the president and he has the right to run for a second term. Absolutely. But
right.
I don't want to. I'd rather you not do that.
You got like 2 minutes to get the car.
Yeah, I know. I got to get to the.
Well, thanks very much.
I got to get to the other thing. I don't have time to answer that question. I'm going to take more time telling you I don't have time to answer that question than actually answering the question would take. I got that other place I got to be. Oh, really? What place is that? You know, the other place. See, they have 3 people that are in the running to run. You know who they are? Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris. You know who the third one is? And I'm not saying my picks. I'm talking about who the Democrats are planning on running against the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, right? Gavin Newsom, Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, and Mayor Pete. And I know a lot of people will say, that's so ridiculous. Well, you're not a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, Mayor Pete and Kamala are great. They get that check mark. You're doing your virtue signaling. I can hardly say at this hour of the morning, right? He'd be the first gay president or gay vice president. That's what's important. Not that he has no accomplishments. And Marco Rubio, he's going up against Val Demings, who's very polished and everything. And I know you'll say, well, Pete and Kamala aren't polished. They don't care. Democrats don't care. What they're doing, the Democrats, this is a really an interesting thing. Every once in a while, the political parties run a sacrifice candidate. It happens to both parties. They run a candidate that they know is going to lose, and usually they give the nomination to someone who the party owes something to. We've had our own. John McCain in 2008 was a sacrifice candidate. You know, no one was going to beat Obama in 2008. I didn't vote for the guy, but the first black candidate of a major party, that's, he walked in. Bob Dole, when he ran against Bill Clinton for Bill Clinton's re-election, I liked Bob Dole. I meant Bob Dole. He was a great guy, but he was a sacrifice candidate, and he, like John McCain, he had done his time with the party, so they gave him the nomination. Right now, it's a sacrifice candidate the Democrats are putting up because they know they're not going to beat Donald Trump. But no one wants to get beaten that bad that they have in the running right now. So they're finding these idiots, Kamala, Mayor Pete, and the skinny pants governor, Newsom, who don't really mind getting humiliated because all 3 of them are so stupid. They actually think that Kamala, Newsom, and Mayor Pete think they've accomplished things in their life and have a strong resume of accomplishments. And the Democrats know that they can't beat Trump, but Democrats also know that the Democrat Party knows that a lot of Democrats, they don't care. The idea of having the first female president or the first gay vice president, that's more important than actually having someone that knows what they're doing. So that's, I think the favorite ticket right now is Kamala and Mayor Pete. Question is, who would be on the top and who would be on the bottom of the ticket? Emphasis on of the ticket. Yeah. Think about that. The Democrats, what a comical duo they would be. All right, now, so Jean-Pierre, you know what I wonder about Jean-Pierre? You know what I wonder? Does Jean-Pierre know how bad she is at her job? What do you guys think? Does she know how bad she is at her job? Does she know that she's being made a fool of every day? Or does she think she's very good at her job? What do you guys think? So yesterday, Jean-Pierre is asked by a CNN reporter, are we in a recession? Now keep in mind, this is Jean-Pierre versus a CNN reporter.
Greene, two questions. One, just following up on what you said about the National Bureau of Economic Research. They also did not declare a recession in 2008 until December. That's 12 months after the recession had already been in place in the U.S. economy. But based on what the president said earlier, have his economic advisors told him they also don't think a recession is likely? And what is exactly the White House's definition of a recession?
Okay. So you'll hear Jean-Pierre better. So keep in mind, this is CNN going after Jean-Pierre, a Democrat. It's not supposed to be this way. CNN is not there to ask real questions. They're there to be an extension of the Democrat White House press office. But she's asking her, are we in a recession? And what is the White House's definition of a recession?
Again, I'm not going to define it from here. I'm just going to leave it to the NBER, as we have stated, of how they define recession. We won't declare one until they have declared one. I'm just saying that we're just not going to define it. We use the indicators that the NBER, the National Bureau of Economic Research, have used. We've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah, well, we're in it, okay, Jean-Pierre? So my question is, does Jean-Pierre know that she looks and sounds like a fool? Does she know she's being humiliated? Or does she think she's doing a great job? What do you guys think? Let me know. 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, on the air since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Tired of boring mornings? We serve controversy with your morning coffee. The Steve Kane Show. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Pretty hot.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
With WPBF 25 First Warning Weather Center, this is meteorologist Brooke Silvering. Today being the wettest day this week with scattered rain and storms throughout the mid-morning hours and even into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures otherwise upper 80s to low 90s with a warm breeze out of the southeast. As we go overnight, a few lingering showers possible, drier, hotter weather for the rest of the week.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
Good news in Boca Raton. Earlier rollover crash cleared now on Glades Road just east of I-95. Emergency vehicles have also vacated the I-95 southbound ramp to Glades Road. Traffic is still a little bit slower out there right now due to the rain. I-95 is pretty slow between Deerfield Beach and Boca, so then take the turnpike instead. We're also seeing some southbound slowdowns on 95 passing Atlantic Avenue. The turnpike just a little bit slow right now to the north passing Lake Worth Road and Southern. This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. When your ride fires on all cylinders, so do you. That's why Napa is on a mission to keep you in motion. With nearly 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores and over 17,000 Napa Auto Care centers, the Napa network has everything you need to get up and go. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
An honest auto mechanic. You probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Are you feeling over the hill? Tired? Sluggish? Taking those midday naps? Just not feeling yourself? There is help. If you want to look and feel like you did when you were young, call Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey and talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. Take it from me. I'm a patient. It works. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. And make sure to tell him you heard about him on the radio.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University.
Now listen, I've got an interview. It's going to be in the last segment of the show that I cannot air on YouTube, so I'm going to shut down the YouTube feed during the Gold Report. So you guys have to listen on iHeartRadio or the radio. It's somebody you all know.
No appointment necessary.
Household name in this audience.
Wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, Liberal Outlet John. No invite for you.
Everyone but Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex out of Fort Lauderdale, with ports of call in Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included. To join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. In our final segment today, after the Gold Report with William Youngerman, we have an honored guest on the program, someone that you all are familiar with, a household name in this listening audience. I promise you. Find out who it is after the next break. I could tell you who. But I'm not. You gotta listen. And that's coming up after the next break, so don't miss that. The last segment of the show will be a very interesting interview that you will not want to miss, I promise you. So this recession talk, this is why it's a problem, okay? You know, they're redefining the definition of what a recession is. Now, I am not a leading economist like President Trump. President Trump is an economist, right? He went to a great school of economics. He took a personal loan from his dad, turned it of $1 million, and became a millionaire or billionaire with a B. And guess what? He paid back his dad. How many of you have paid back your parents, or have your kids paid you back? When a child asks to borrow money, they're not asking to borrow money, right? Donald Trump paid his dad back. I don't know anyone who's paid their parents back, including me, right? Growing up. But that's the way it is, and you pass it along to the kids because your kids borrow from you, and it's cool. That's it. But Donald Trump paid his dad back. He's a leading economist, and because he has real, true, practical experience. And when he put together his cabinet, not just advisors, but cabinet members like Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, he had people that had been successful in private business, where there's accountability and financial accountability. They don't have machines that make the money like the government does. And so not only did Donald Trump have top economic advisors, he's one himself, and all these business people around him. Biden's economic advisors, what industries were they in? They're college professors. They're people that have degrees in economics and have never had a job in the private sector, not running a business, making a payroll, or doing anything. But they have the PhD in economics and they think they're an economist. Are you kidding me? It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's nuts. And, a recession, from my recollection in college, economics 101, everybody has to take it in college. It's 2 periods of negative economic growth, right? Negative, which means a loss. That's where we're at. Now, their new definition that they're trying to come up with is that it's temporary. They want to focus on temporary. Well, here's the problem with that. Typically, a recession is temporary. Typically. No matter who the presidents are, except this guy. And it's not because he's a senile old coot that has to show the doctor that he cleaned his plate. Right? Remember that? This is going to go in the permanent soundbite archive.
He slept well last night. He ate his breakfast and lunch. He actually showed me his plate. Didn't ask about the menu, but I did see an empty plate with crumbs, and I have some guesses about.
So assisted living facility is now the White House. Scary. That's what you do for children. They hold up their plate. Look, Mom, I ate my veggies. Here's the problem where, President Trump in the Arizona rally, I didn't hear him say this at Turning Point on Saturday, but in the Arizona rally, President Trump used the word depression, not recession. He said recession is something that, like during the Great Depression, they would have been happy with. He said depression, not recession. Again, President Trump is a leading economist. He's got real-world experience. And the reason that's a dirty word. You don't want to say that word out loud, depression. You don't even want to say recession. But the problem is, there's 2 problems with Biden, maybe more as I talk about it, so far as being in an economic recession. One, no one around him is really an economist. They got a degree, but they've never worked in the real world. So the people that are advising him don't even know how to fix it. They have no clue how to fix it. They may have kept their old college textbooks and can read a chapter or something, but they don't know how to fix it because they have no experience. And the other problem is, the problems that this country has faced for just over a year and a half under the failed leadership of this senile assisted living resident, it sounds like that was in the press briefing on Friday, that exchange there. What problem has America faced that this White House with the Biden regime have taken a move to fix it? Right? We were talking yesterday, the baby formula shortage continues. I'm mailing baby formula to someone today out of town. They can't get baby formula for their baby. We found some. We're mailing it today. Right? Right now in California, there's a trucker strike. Truckers are blocking the port entrances and exits with semi-trucks, so the ships can't unload. They can't get the cargo out. The supply chain crisis continues. Inflation, gas prices. Biden's record in the last year and a half is to let things alone and see if they work themselves out. So when we're in a recession, typically you would have a president, no matter who they are, liberal or conservative, who would take some actions to try to get us out of the recession. Now, if they're a Democrat, they may have the wrong actions, but at least they're trying. This administration has not made one move to try to fix any problem, including this one, even if they knew how, which they don't. So they're not even going to try to get us out of a recession. They're just going to let it ride until it fixes itself. By the way, in the meantime, they're going to do a lot of things to continue to screw us, like causing gas prices to continue to increase. So this is why this here is a very bad situation we're in. And I don't like using that word, recession. I'm not going to use it as too much. I'm using it now because we're directly talking about it, but that's a dirty word. It really is. And it can cause even more problems when people start talking about it, but we are there now. People in mainstream media are using this. Even the liberals are attacking Jean-Pierre there at the White House yesterday using the word. It's like a forbidden word that you don't use in media unless it's the real deal, because you don't want to cause the economic problem by speculating on it. And here we are. And they won't even acknowledge there is a problem. So how can they take actions to fix a problem that they're not trying to fix? All the White House is doing right now, if you see this, is trying to redefine what a recession is. George Orwell's 1984, right? 2 + 2 is 3. That's what they're trying to tell you, right? Their biggest thing is, we saw, this is more evidence that the Obama crew are running the show in many ways, because Obama had a pattern. If there was any difficulty, it was all about the narrative, right? We got to get the right narrative out there. If we get the right narrative, people will think it's true. The Biden White House isn't doing anything to fix the economic troubles. They're out there trying to fix a spin on it, which no one's buying. That means we're in big trouble. Now, one last thing before the break. Did you guys catch Bret Baier last night? Oh boy, I caught Bret Baier. Bret Baier was forced to deal with the fact that he didn't pick up on Liz Cheney's lie. Now, I did this yesterday. Let's see, do I have time to play? I don't have time to play the audio of it. I can play the beginning. Remember, Liz Cheney was on Fox News Sunday with Bret Baier?
Witnesses who say they met with President Trump on January 4th, and he offered some 20,000 National Guardsmen to protect the Capitol building on January 6th, but the offer was rejected. Is that true? Do you know that to be true?
Well, his own acting Secretary of Defense says that's not true. Chris Miller has testified publicly that Donald Trump never issued any order to deploy the Guard.
Okay, so Chris Miller, the acting Defense Secretary for Trump, okay. So Bret Baier last night at 6, you know, I have the clip here. I just don't have time to play the next section before the break. But Chris Miller was on Hannity on the 6th of June saying that he was in the meeting. It was Miller, Kash Patel, and General Milli Vanilli and President Trump. And it was President Trump's idea. It was President Trump's idea to send the 20,000 National Guard troops to the Capitol. And Pelosi refused it, but it was his idea. At the end of the meeting, he stopped everybody as they were leaving and said, whoa, wait a minute, I got something here. Okay? And Bret Baier was forced to play part 2 of that. He looked physically ill. He looked like he had thrown up before the show. He started his show with it last night. He was humiliated. See, Bret Baier's got that Trump derangement syndrome going on. And because he's got the Trump derangement syndrome going on, well, he doesn't think too clearly sometimes, and he was made to look like a fool on his own program, which, by the way, doesn't just air on Fox News Channel, but airs on all the Fox News affiliates nationwide, at least many of them. So the humiliation was far greater than just on the regular Fox News Channel. It was on the regular broadcast Fox News in all the major markets of the country. So, and when he had to correct the record last night on his show, it was fun to watch. If you have the ability to catch that, it's in the beginning. Go back and watch it after 9 o'clock, okay, when we go off the air. It was beautiful to watch. Now, after our last break with the gold report, we have an interview coming up, and this is an interview with someone that you all know, a household name in this listening audience, and that's right, and we'll go right to that after the break. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, back with the gold report with William Youngerman right after this.
The longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, Oldies 95.3 and...
All right, William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca joins us each day at this time for the first look at the gold and other precious metals markets. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking good. Gold very stable above the $1,700 mark, with silver still fighting between $18.40 and up to about $19. And yesterday we saw gold trade down $7.30, closing at $1,720 the ounce. Silver was down 12 cents at $18.45, while platinum closed down $7 at $880.
Now listen, guys, I got to shut down YouTube for the interview. You got to listen on iHeart or the radio, okay? So I'll see you guys a little later, all right? Thanks for watching, everyone.